I lost the guy that I loved and cared about to red pill content. Before he started watching this content, he was a sweet, nice man who treated me well and was charismatic, funny. And the moment he started watching this content, he completely changed. He started calling women bitches, whores, skanks. He became very, very angry almost all the time. And then eventually he ended things with me because he thought I was using him for money. Now, granted, there was one time where I did make a joke about how I wanted an old guy to take care of me, and I quickly regretted it and said I was sorry.
Oh, no, let's not skip past that part. Let's not skip past that. Hold on. Let's go back for a second because we getting this. Now we getting glimpses of this whole story.
Because he thought I was using him for money.
Uh-huh.
Now, granted, there was one time where I did make a joke about how I wanted an old guy to take care of me, and I quickly regretted it and said I was sorry.
Mm. So wait a minute. First she say he thought she was using her for money, or she was using him for money. Now she's saying, and granted, one time I made a bad joke that I quickly regretted. Well, of course you quickly regretted it, because he probably was woke at that point. He probably had become aware, because red pill is not anything incel related. It's not to create anger. It's not to make people mad at women. All red pill is revealing people to the truth. And so I'm pretty sure that there are other things that you've done and said and that's been a part of this relationship that she doesn't want to admit or she doesn't want to have a conversation about. And so what we do is we get glimpses. We get small little glimpses into what's really happening out in these streets. And so she's kind of revealed that, right? She's revealed it to us. She's basically telling us, hey, this is who I am. This is what I've done. And so take me at my word. And one thing that I always tell people is that when people show you who they are, believe them. When people show you who they are, believe them. When she started this off and she said she started with all of the gloating, kind compliments, and of course there's going to be women inside of the comments that say, oh my God, I lost mine too, or this and that, and so on and so forth. Nobody actually takes a look. They always pointing out the window instead of looking in the mirror and saying, who am I? And why is it that this person, you know, didn't want to be around me anymore? What is it that I revealed myself to be? Because let's be very, very clear. He probably saved himself a lifetime of headache by more or less vetting appropriately and removing himself from the whole situation. So when you start to have this conversation, you say, who are you? And you know, why would he want to leave you? Because people do not leave people that are valuable under no circumstances. Guys will do some of the craziest thing, and so value is inherent, or it's based off of whoever it is that is making an observation of the person. And what I've learned in life is that people look at value differently, but value is value. So, a woman could be with a guy, and I'm not saying that this is right, I'm just using this as an example. A woman could be with a guy, and that guy could be doing all kind of things, but he is, still taking care of her, paying everything and and she may or may not leave, but if she leaves, it's going to be very, very difficult for her to leave. Why? Because there's inherent value that comes with being with him inside of a relationship. And so she would have to basically make a sacrifice and say, well, I want to lower my lifestyle. I want to be worse off. I want to have to go out to work. I want to go out and do this. Or I want to sit here and try to figure out how it is that I could fix this situation, or I want to just endure through the negative because the net positive is more, right? And so when she says, "Oh, he left me and he thought that I was using," why would he think that you were using him? What is it that you were contributing or not contributing that would lead him to believe that you are using him? And the only reason that she's giving him probably all of these compliments is because what? Because he was weak. He was a simp. He was doing things that he should have only been doing for a wife. He was doing it for a chick that was basically making jokes and giving us glimpses of probably a bigger thing that was really happening in a relationship, and it's that she probably was using him. And so let me just, before we finish this video, because I'm going to let her cook, and I want to play the whole thing in its entirety because it's not even really that long. Let me just explain to you, just give you a brief summary of what red pill is. Red pill is not the hating of women. I don't even consider myself a red pill content creator. Am I aware of what is going on? Yes. All red pill is the revelations of the truth. And it could be applicable to every single thing in your life. If you want to understand how politics really work, instead of just believing whatever narrative that the Democrats or the Republicans are selling you, then you can actually see behind the veil because you are opened to the possibility of what if. If you really want to understand how money works and that it's not really race based that's happening in society, but it's a class war, then the truth will start to find itself. Like you'll reveal because you'll do more research, you'll get better understanding of life experiences, so on and so forth. That's why when people get older, they tend to switch over to being conservative or voting for Republicans instead of just voting for Democrats. They become wiser, they become open, right? Their mind is now expanded based off of what the truth is and not what you was sold to believe earlier in your life. And it's also applicable to relationships, right? Because in a relationship, a lot of guys have been through it. They've been through the gauntlet of family court laws. They've gotten half of their stuff taken. And so now guys are more fearful of divorce than they are about getting married. And so Red Pill just reveals what the truth is and what you should be looking for in a wife, not what society sells you or tells you. Don't become a step crash dummy. Don't be out here taking care of chicks that ain't yours. Don't deal with people that reveal to you who they really are and what their intentions are. And it doesn't matter if they got on a Christmas sweater and they complaining out here to us. They're gonna reveal themselves to us. But let's back up for a second. Let's hear the whole story and let's go from there.
I lost the guy that I loved and cared about to red pill content. Before he started watching this content, he was a sweet, nice man who treated me well and was charismatic, funny. And the moment he started watching this content, he completely changed. He started calling women bitches, whores, skanks. He became very, very angry almost all the time. And then eventually he ended things with me because he thought I was using him for money. Now, granted, there was one time where I did make a joke about how I wanted an old guy to take care of me, and I quickly regretted it and said I was sorry. But I still cared about him. I would drive 30 minutes every day to see him. Like, it wasn't just about the money. Because he's watching all this content, he thinks that all these women
It
are
wasn't just about the money, but the money definitely played a factor, obviously.
trying to use him and all that stuff. And so he had a loving girl that cared about him and loved him and like would stick by his side through anything. And then he eventually said this to me, and this was the final straw. Now, when I first started talking to him, not that it mattered, but he was over 270 pounds when I started
He
talking to him.
leveled
I did
up.
not care about his size.
He leveled up.
He then lost weight and then started fat shaming everyone around him. And today, actually, he said this to me. He called me a broke skank and then said that I would ease back on the food. Your stomach's getting a little big. And I've never, my whole life, had a man speak to me like that. And here I was the week before going out and I was gonna go buy him a present for his birthday.
That's crazy.
And for him to turn around and call the girl that cared about him and loved him a skank and fat when he's like one of the only guys that I've been with. And
One of the only guys that I've been with. Gotcha.
beginning it was totally opposite. He would compliment me, tell me how pretty I was,
He leveled
and
up.
laugh and make jokes, and like just this content, it just ruined him. And then I went on his page before we unfollowed each other, and I saw
No,
he
you
was
still following him.
reposting like Andrew Tate and like David Goggins and like almost all of his reposts were that. And then
David
that's how I
Goggins is
found
good
out
too.
that he was in this red pill.
David Goggins is dope. I love David Goggins. I think that he's absolutely awesome. But let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off the first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you guys later.